Well, hey there, kiddos. Welcome to another of our notes and rhythms lessons. Today we are doing a new note. That's right, we're going to be putting out a new note today. But first, as always, let's make sure we review our other notes. The first music note we're going to learn about is called a quarter note. A quarter note will have one clap, and it'll sound like this. One more time, one clap. Do it with me. Just one clap now. When we see a rest symbol that looks like this, we are going to rest and not do anything. So we're not going to clap. We're not going to say anything either. In fact, we're going to make our rest sound. And our rest sound to help us out is going to be shh. Can you do that with me? Shh. One more time. Shh. Make sure when you do that, you take your hand and put your finger up towards your mouth and go, shh. And our new note looks like this. It is called an eighth note. Can you guys say that? Eighth note. Like the number 8. It's an eighth note. So you'll notice that these eighth notes actually have something between them, don't you? They can sit on their own, and they have what's called a flag, and that's how you know that there's just an eighth note there. But when we see them most of the time, we're going to see them together, double, like this. These two eighth notes have a beam between them. Remember we looked at the beam when we talked about the parts of a note? So it could have a flag if it's just on its own, but normally it's going to look like this with the beam. And we're going to see them together, just like this. And so if a quarter note was only one clap, this one can be sure that when we see something like this, it's going to be 2 claps because there's 2 notes. We're going to call this note not an eighth note normally, although that's what musicians call it. We're going to call this note a cherry. That's right, we call it cherry. And when we say cherry and clap, it's going to sound like this. Cherry. One more time. Cherry. One more time. Cherry. Notice it was 2 claps while we said cherry. All right, I hope you guys got that. Remember, practice makes perfect. That's why we're practicing before every single video. So, let's go ahead and start working on our new note. Now, our new note looks like this. And look at that. It's got a head, it's got a stem, but it's also got 2 flags on it. That's right, 2, right? And those flags show us that this note is not a quarter note. It's not an eighth note. Nope. This note is called a 16th note. That's right, a 16th note. And just like our quarter note, how we normally won't see them by themselves, we're not going to see this one by itself much either. Okay? So how we're going to normally see the 16th note is like this. You'll notice that they have 2 beams on it, just like how the note itself had 2 flags. That's how we know that it's not an eighth note, because an eighth note is only going to have 1 beam, right? 16th notes have 2, all right? So we're going to call this group of 16th notes something, okay? And we're going to call it a boysenberry. Boysenberry, okay? One more time, a boysenberry. Now, the boysenberry, okay, is going to have 4 claps, because look, there's 4 notes here. So it's going to be boysenberry. Boysenberry. One more time. Boysenberry. Do it with me. Boysenberry. All right? So, let's go ahead and do some practice ones today, okay? We're going to do single measures, like this one right here. And look, we have 16 claps in here, because with 16th notes, we can have up to 16 in the measure, okay? So, this one is going to go boysenberry, 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 boysenberry. All right? Again, it's boysenberry, 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 boysenberry. You ready to try it? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boysenberry, 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 boysenberry. Were you able to do that? Make sure to pause the video here and practice that set of notes, that measure. All right. If you are able to do that, let's go ahead and move on to another one. So this one is a little bit more tricky because we're adding some eighth notes in there. So this one says, cherry, boysenberry, cherry, boysenberry. All right, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cherry, boysenberry, cherry, boysenberry. Were you able to do that one? Ooh, that one gets a little bit tricky, doesn't it? Pause the video or rewatch it if you need some help. All right, do that before you move on to the next one. All right, our last one that we're going to do today, boys and girls, for practice is going to be this one here. And this one's even a little bit trickier because we have all 3 of our notes. And so this one goes, boysenberry jam, cherry jam. Boysenberry jam, cherry jam. Right? All right, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boysenberry jam, cherry jam. Were you able to do that? Make sure to pause the video and practice this one before you move on. All right, that is our new note, our 16th note, or together, boysenberry. So make sure to practice that, and I will see you in our 10-minute session where we will practice this a little bit more together, okay? All right, make sure you can always go back to the other videos for more practice too. There's so much practice here with our rhythms to do, okay? And so all 4 of our rhythm videos will be up on the website for you to practice, okay? So feel free to go back to any of those that you want to practice this next couple weeks, okay? All right, the next one's going to get a little bit more challenging because we're going to make multiple measures out of it, just like we did last time. So get ready for that. Make sure you practice up. Okay, I will see you in the next video. Later, guys.